Second.
Very good evening, one and all friends. Today we are going to have an amazing session with Dr. Vidya Hari Iyer, and we had done the most energetic sessions earlier with in our webinar series. And today is going to talk about it's okay to cry, and the topic itself is a more interesting, where we can find out that the person's logical sense and how we can attract the participants. So, such a amazing title, and there are a lot of positive feedback for her previous sessions, and I welcome today's speaker as well as our former speakers and my core team members and all the participants on behalf of the Department of Psychology, American College, Madurai, and all the associating institutions like Madras School of Social Work, MH Institute, Madurai, Red Pond Educational and Psychological Research Center, and Yellow Pond Counseling Center. I welcome each one of you, especially today's speaker, Dr. Vidya Hari Iyer. And she is a multi-talented personality. Sir, would you like to introduce Madam Salim sir?
Yes, sir. Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah.
Now I request
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Salim sir to introduce the speaker to the audience over here. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Suresh Kumar, sir. I would like to give the intro about Dr. Vidya ma'am for the newcomers. We already know Dr. Vidya ma'am. I think it's echoing. She's completed BDS in 1995. She done PGDLMS and PGDHM and PGDCC, and she done diploma in neuromuscular orthodontics and pathology, and she's done MSc psychotherapy and counseling. She done MPhil counseling, and she done diploma in dental photography and diploma in dental photography from Birmingham, University of Birmingham, and she done certificate program in strategic digital marketing. And Dr. Vidya Hari Iyer is a director for Smile Dental Clinic. She's a consultant dental surgeon and implantologist. She's a laser, gold, cosmetic, and aesthetic consultant. She is the biomedical, dental waste management, and medicological legal consultant. She is inspirational speaker. She is a psychotherapist and counselor. She is a businesswoman, entrepreneur. She is a life and leadership coach, behavior analyst. She is past president of Indian Dental Association Madras branch. There are some social causes she done. She worked for the past 12 years in field of women empowerment, cancer awareness program for women, community mental health for all, and Get In Get Fit series and Pamper Yourself series, Inspiring Young Mind series, and Crossing Boundary series. A personal psychotherapist and counselor practicing for a decade, serving people with concern, an entrepreneur, a social activities, investing time in feminine concern of cancer, of maternal, an artist, animal lover, love adventure, sports and traveling. Lot. She got some awards also. She got award in Miss Beautiful Smile in 2017, and she got Miss Alagi Award in 2019, and she got Miss Attitude Award in 2019. And she got Dr. Abdul Kalam Lifetime Achievement Award, and she got Miss Shakti Award in 2019 and 2020 as well. So, this kind note, I would like to welcome Dr. Vidya Hari Iyer ma'am to take over this. Ma'am, over to you.
Sir, can you hear me, Salim sir?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yes.
So thank you so much, Suresh sir and Salim sir, for that kind introduction. Truly a very overwhelming, feeling to come back again at this mental health series session. And to all the senior members of this forum, co-speakers and my dear friends, it's indeed a pleasure to come back again and speak to you. I know when I put this topic, I understood it is going to spark some kind of response, but I would like to not mention names here, but still, I would like to say what happened in the last 10-12 hours. So I was asked, okay, you say a Smile Dental Clinic, and then you're saying it's okay to cry. So are we going to cry today? So that was one of the questions. And another person told me, like, generally your talks are very touchy, emotional. So should we bring our handkerchiefs or should we bring a bigger towel? So we're going to weep through our day. So I just thought I would just break the ice and say, no, nothing of that sort. I'm a very, very fun-loving person. I love to smile. I love to laugh all the time. But then there are times in life when we all cry, right? And if I have to think about why should I cry, or when do we cry, and what happens when we cry, and can men cry? Is it okay for men to cry? Is it only that women should cry? So many questions come into our mind. And I just thought I'm going to break some myths related to crying, right? So that's why I said it's okay to cry, which means like if you're crying over some issues, probably you can cry. It's okay. It's not an issue, right? So good evening once again, my dear friends, and I'm going to start sharing my presentation right away. So as the presentation opens up, I would definitely like to thank this August gathering, because in these times of testing times rather, I should definitely say that lots of things have happened in everybody's life, and today we are all just striving hard to see that all of us have a better future in hand. So I would like to congratulate the entire Department of Psychology, the American College, Madurai, the mental health webinar series, which is very close to 500. And, we are all in an endeavor to make it happen soon. And I can just tell you, I feel very proud to be associated with it and to be an active contributor also, along with the higher dignitaries, Dr. Davamani, Dr. Suresh Kumar, all the guest speakers on this forum. So thank you so much again for the opportunity. Let's get back to the topic. It's okay to cry. So I'm going to talk to you on various aspects. I've been a dentist for the last 26 plus years, a clinician for 21 plus years, psychotherapist and a counselor for 13 plus years, a holistic healer for 13 plus years, a nutrition and wellness advisor for 12 plus years, and have over 250 guest lectures to my credit. And all these 250 which I have included are those guest lectures where I have gone and given. It's not on the online platform. So if I calculate even the online lectures which I've given lately, it should cross around say 300, 400. Okay. But I just thought I should, just try to give you a complete perspective or a holistic perspective about this singular topic. So as Amina Mahmood said, it's okay to cry when there's too much on your mind. The clouds rain too when they get heavy. So, whenever you cry, you always let your emotions come out totally, and then you feel lighter. I'm sure most of you must be nodding your head right now. And when you look at the sky, when you see a pregnant cloud, the cloud is just laden with water, the clouds cry. And when it cries, it quenches the thirst of the earth, and not only of the earth, of the plants and all the living beings around us. So much of goodness actually happens when there is water around. So cry it out, your tears heal you, and this healing happens both internally and physically and physiologically too. Don't forget that you're a human. So many a times people think that it is not okay to cry, especially should not cry in front of others and things like that. But understand you're a human being, and it's okay to have a meltdown. You don't have to just unpack and live there. Cry it out and then refocus on where you are headed to. So it's not like crying itself is not wrong. or write, however you want to talk about it. But crying itself can help you let down your emotions, de-stress you, and then gives you a lot more clarity. And you can go ahead with life and refocus on what your main aspect of life is. So just a little bit of anatomy to understand where your tear gland is. You can see the tear gland is here on the outer end of your eyebrow. You can see the lacrimal gland, and then you have a tear sac. So you have a kind of a duct which comes here, and it is called the nasolacrimal duct. Naso means nose, lacrimal is to the eye. So whenever you cry for a longer period of time, you would see some kind of a secretion from the nose too. I mean, when you are really overwhelmed and you're crying. So this is a process. Now, when you speak about tears, they are of three types. You have the basal tear, the reflex tear, and emotional tear. So let's understand what these are. So what is a basal tear? A basal tear is when you just have your eyes moist. It acts as a lubricant. It is very important that your eyes have the correct amount of moisture, and this will actually keep your eyes healthy. Next is called the reflex tear. That means when there is some sand or some foreign body which just comes and hits your eye, you start to have tears. Now, once you remove the foreign body, or the tears themselves actually remove the foreign body from your eye, and then it's all gone. So then that tear stops. But then these two are something different. And when it is an emotional tear, it is altogether another ball game. So let's understand what are the different types of crying then. So when you have a graph understanding the sympathy elicited and the patheticness, which means like, you feel very sad, very low about yourself. So now when you have a very low patheticness and then your sympathy levels are really high, you weep, you really sob. And sometimes it goes into silent tears. Many a times you don't express it outside, it goes into silent tears. But then if your patheticness is high and your sympathy level is also high, you would have heard people wailing and screaming and crying, or they go into hyperventilated crying, wherein they will be gasping for breath. So these two would come into that category. Now, when your patheticness is very high and your sympathy elicited is low, you have the blubbering, the sniveling, or the whimpering, where they would be crying, but it would be on a low tone. And what is this emotional tear about? The emotional tear is the one which contains high levels of stress hormones, the ACTH and the enkephalin. Now, this is very important to know because not many of us have experienced such long days or weeks or months of, this kind of a feeling what we're going through because of the pandemic. So I cannot classify the pandemic into only people who already, have some kind of mental, I would say low or a kind of an anxiety or a stress level, but this has affected people at a large level. And why did I choose this topic? It is basically because we understand that the mental health are the third wave coming in, or already come in, as people say, it has already started in the month of July. So with us all coming in, we understand the mental level or the depression level, the anxiety, the panic attacks, what is going to be the future for tomorrow. And there are people who are actually having a lot of built up emotions in their mind. And all these, if you think that you want to cry, it makes you feel nice, go ahead. It's all okay. And that's why this topic today. So in times of deep pain, anger, and stress, crying can actually be a healthy coping option. Many a times, crying people think as a weakness. No, not really. Though more often associated with negative emotions, crying is more than just a symptom of sadness. Research suggests that crying is an emotional release of mechanism, which is very useful for the mental health for a number of reasons. So you would have seen people cry when they are very sad and they would just be sobbing. And then you would see people having tears of joy. When they sing or they do well or they perform very well, exceptionally well, and they're rewarded for that. They're appreciated for that. And you would see a lot of people walk up on stage with tears on the eyes. So it's an emotion. First, understand that. Crying is very healthy expression of feelings such as sadness and disappointment. But many a times you would have heard, people tell boys or, young boys, forget about the men because even the boys are not allowed to cry. So then I guess men, it's different. So if we tell the boys not to cry, then what happens is they begin to suppress, avoid, or totally shut down their emotions as they are not encouraged to express them. Now, this is what Foreman said. However, sometimes the bravest thing to do is to cry. Just let yourself cry. Let yourself feel. Let yourself process and let yourself heal, as Elizabeth Joyce said. So let's understand the emotions when you're a boy versus when you're a girl. I am not a very gender biased person. I believe in living in holistic living, in kind of harmony, and I'm not a feminist in any way. Nevertheless, when you see a boy crying and saying, I'm feeling sad, generally what they say is, boys don't cry, man up, don't be a sissy, things like that. But when it is a girl who's crying, they say, you can talk to me about that. I'm here for you. Is there any way I can help you? Now, why is it different for both these genders? Now, let's understand. Because when it's boy, they say like it's only, only girls cry, boys don't cry. And this, in fact, makes them feel even more worse. Now, that is very important for us to understand. So when emotions are held back, such as swallowing or holding back on your tears, the emotional energy gets congested in your body. Now, this would cause a lot of pain, and this pain is even worse than if it was that you didn't cry. So let's understand these emotions. So crying releases the feel-good hormones that dull the pain. So if you have pain, your crying actually eases off the pain. Crying can help you process emotions and experiences. It activates the parasympathetic nervous system and it calms your mind. All the bottled up emotions actually comes out like a volcano. And if you had kept them inside your mind, it would actually hurt you further. It helps you identify what is important because after you cry, there is a kind of a clarity in your mindset. There's a clarity in your thoughts. And then it helps you think better or, restructure what happened and then have a kind of a depersonalization from that event and then, pushes yourself to another person's viewpoint and then you give better solutions to yourself. Crying is a way to restore your emotional balance. So it's okay to cry because it's beneficial to you. It does not help you hold back your tears, and the tears are normal, healthy way of expression. However, severe grief or disruption can cause anyone to cry, which is normal. But when you do it over a prolonged period of time, so the prolonged crying that persists without any reason is not normal. It may indicate a very serious condition which might require treatment. So crying can be helpful in some situations, but remember that it only means for you to express your feelings, whether it could be anger, sadness, anxiety, frustration, or even grief for that matter. So crying is good for your health. It lubricates your eye. It flushes the unhealthy bacteria out of your body. It cleanses your eye. It eases pain of your heart. It strengthens the immune system. And it is also a stress relieving mechanism. So what are the benefits of crying? It regulates your emotion. It enhances your mood. It relieves your stress. It aids you sleep better. It helps you fight bacteria. It improves vision and it releases toxins. These are two very famous books when you look into parenting and especially the Tears. So Tears Heal and How to Listen to Our Children by Kate Orson, or Tears and Tantrums, What to Do When Babies and Children Cry by Alatha J. Salter. Both these books are very, very useful, especially for the young parents. See, there was a time when every household had more than 3 children. The parents really sometimes, I've heard my parents speak about, my grandparents and those kind of generation where they had 6 and plus children. They never knew what child was studying what, and everybody became a kind of a self-made person. But today, when the parenting has actually been restricted to 1 or 2 children, the parents are themselves very anxious and they really don't know how exactly to emote when they see their child cry. So these 2 books have really made a difference. But when you look at a mother, within about 2 or 3 weeks, she really finds out why the baby is crying. It could be due to hunger, the child is irritated, needs sleep, needs to be held and just hugged and kissed and cajoled. There is some trapped air, a colicky kind of a pain in the abdomen, a dirty diaper, or teething. So a baby could cry for various reasons. But by the mere look of the child, the mother or the caregiver would know exactly what the child needs. That's exactly how we have all grown up. When a guy sees a girl cry, not any girl, a special girl cry. So it becomes that it inspires their own empathy. And he feels that, he needs to get connected to her much more. It's also an opportunity to get closer to her and see her as a vulnerable woman and, just give her that support and say, I'm there for you. And thereby they get more attracted to each other. So this is also a kind of a bonding. Now, but when a man cries in front of a woman, it is a very solid indicator that he trusts only her with his emotions and can open up to her. So men cry too. And men who cry openly are supposed to be told that, they are more bolder or more stronger rather than the belief that, they should not cry. So tears can help people heal from hurtful psychological experience in life, just as there are natural body processes that promote physical healing. So crying is how our body would speak out when words actually can't express the pain we feel from inside. And a physiological fact is, when a person cries and the first drop of tear comes from the right eye, it means it's happiness or tears of joy. But when it rolls down from the left, it means it's pain. Sometimes it is okay to break down. Sometimes it's okay to cry on the floor of the shower or in the middle of a parking lot at 3 a.m. Sometimes it is okay to throw rocks. It's okay to take your pain and anger out on anyone. Mostly people say you have a punching bag or a pillow and then just hit your anger on them. It's not okay to neglect yourself, your family and life because internally you're getting hurt. And it's not okay to hurt other people because you're hurt. So it's okay to cry. Get your emotions out. It is not okay to hold it on to yourself because it destroys you from within. And it is definitely not okay when this feeling of yours is expressed in terms of anger to others, which means you're hurting another person. So pick yourself up, dust yourself up, and lessen people, then you have gone through more than this. Sometimes allowing yourself to cry is the scariest thing you will ever do and the bravest. It takes a lot of courage to face the facts, stare loss in the face, bare your heart and let it bleed. But it is the only way to cleanse your wounds and prepare them for healing. God will take care of the rest, as Barbara Johnson said. Many a times I have, listened to clients in the last 15, 16 months. I have never felt like this before because usually 1 or 2 would come up and say they are having a problem with their family. 1 or 2 would come and say they're having a financial problem or a problem with studies. But never it has happened in the last 15, 16 months that every day you keep listening to 5 or 6 such stories and you want to pick people up. You want to hear them out and you want to definitely lend them a hand and say It's okay to have a emotional pour down. Once it is out of your system, it really makes you feel better in life. So people cry not because they are weak, it's because they have been strong for too long. That's what Johnny Depp said. Emotional tears contain higher concentrations of proteins, manganese, and the hormone prolactin, which is processed during stress-induced danger or arousal, as studies done by Dr. Carrie Lane from the University of Texas. Stress also tightens the muscles and heightens the tension. So when you cry, you actually release all of that. Both the muscles which are taut gets, comforted, and it also the tension just pours down. Crying activates the parasympathetic nervous system and restores the state of balance. The simple act of crying can also reduce the body's manganese level, a mineral which affects the mood and is found in significantly greater concentrates in tears than in blood serum. Elevated manganese levels can be associated with anxiety, irritability, and aggression. So, whenever you actually come back to any kind of holistic way of living, people say start from the basics. And you thought, oh, have proteins on a basis, is that enough? But now people have understood that proteins actually calm your metabolism and have a lot more health benefits. They help in muscle development, they help with the bone metabolism, they control your sugar levels, they slow down your aging process, they prevent the hair damage, they maintain an ideal weight, prevent heart-related disease, improves your immune system, helps in control of your hormones, and makes your skin healthy. Now, if you look at what all effects the pandemic has had on each of us, I'm sure you would understand the importance of protein, which will give us a kind of a holistic way of looking. Most of us are sitting in front of a laptop through the day, probably 8 to 10 hours a day, if I could say. And this has definitely caused a lot of weight increase in most of them, a kind of sitting, which is the next to what we call as the next to cardiovascular diseases. And most of us thinking all these negative thoughts has also brought our mental levels of sanity come down. So proteins actually help us just get over all this. And what are your sources of protein? Chicken, salmon, lean beef, king prawns, turkey muns, and whitefish. And the other stuffs could be your eggs, your yogurt, your beans, your lentils, your chickpeas, your almonds. All this is going to give you healthy proteins. Next, I'm sure you heard manganese. And many a times whenever we think about a kind of a holistic way of life, you say, eat a lot of green leafy vegetables. Now, why is that so? Because it has manganese. Oats, soybeans, whole wheat flour, pine nuts, pineapple, all these are actually moon calmers. So what are the benefits? It improves your bone health. Very important for this bone health and manganese, especially with the third wave coming up. There is something called AVN or avascular necrosis, which as dentists I'm seeing on a regular basis right now, since we have started treating COVID patients also. So as we treat the COVID patients, we understand that the mucormycosis or the fungi infection in the oral cavity, which was black and turned white and now yellow and whatnot, right? Now, all this is actually bringing down the immune system of a person, and it is also reducing the blood supply in the bone. So when the blood supply of the bone comes down, vascular means blood filled, avascular means less of blood, necrosis means cell death. So manganese actually would improve your bone health, which means the avascular necrosis, or which is next to the mucormycosis as we are talking about right now, is going to be a game changer. It also acts as an antioxidant, controls your metabolism rate, and regulates the blood sugar level. A little about blood sugar here. See, many a times we've understood people who have been affected with COVID, and we have understood that, there are 4 comorbidities to COVID. First is the diabetes, and then you have the respiratory diseases, you have the cardiovascular diseases, and obesity. I mean, if you classify, these are the 4 things. Now, the first thing is diabetes. Now, if you're a non-diabetic or a pre-diabetic, you've got affected with COVID, it is now happening that, people are turning out to be diabetic. And if you have had a mild or a moderate way, then probably with a proper holistic way of life, they're getting back to normalcy. But then if you have got hit in the wrong way, what happens predominantly is they are put into what we call as the immunosuppressant drugs or the corticosteroids. And because of the steroids, there is a blood sugar variation, and people have become diabetic or hypertensive post-COVID, which we as doctors are seeing it on a daily basis. Manganese, on the other hand, would help you regulate your blood sugar level. So it's a very important slide where you need to understand the importance of manganese. And a 4-step system to reduce the high level of prolactin is to use hormone balancing supplements. It cleanses your body. We had a talk on detox, stress relief measures, and of course, lifestyle changes. All of them go hand in hand. So by having a lot of protein and manganese and prolactin reduction, you're going to have a healthy kind of a holistic way to approach this kind of a pandemic. So, can you have a specific time to cry? The answer is a yes. A study said that 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. is the best time to release your negative emotions by crying, because cortisol releasing effect that aids in weight loss is at its peak during this time. And fat is burnt by crying only when the tears are genuine. And I have some good news for people who think they cry often. The good news is you can burn calories when you cry, but you'll have to cry for a longer period of time to do so. I don't advocate that in any which way, but nevertheless, if you see the amount of calories when you are crying versus the amount of calories when you're laughing, it's going to be about 1.3 calories per minute. I would choose to smile or laugh rather than cry. So, but it's still okay to cry. After crying, what happens? A person's eye becomes very expressive and he or she looks more appealing, because crying detoxifies the body. And your body, which is producing tears, as I told you, it protects the eye from irritation, keeps your eyes lubricated, and tears have an enzyme called the lysozyme, which is a powerful antibacterial chemical that helps fight infection. So crying has proven to reduce stress. Crying has made a positive effect on a person's skin over time. Many a times we have heard people say, oh, will crying, affect my beauty, right? So Gohara has done a lot of studies in this, and they say that, skin conditions like acne or breakouts, which is on pretty much the teenager's skin. Now that is being caused because of stress. And when you actually cry, you're trying to de-stress, and you can reduce your acne and breakouts. Rubbing from crying can clog the pores. When you cry, you actually rub your skin. That could clog your pores. When you cry for an extended period of time, your body produces hormones like oxytocin and endorphins. And for all those people who attended my talk on detox, you would know there is something called DOSE, D-O-S-E. Those are your happy hormones. D stands for dopamine, O stands for oxytocin, S stands for serotonin, and E for endorphin. They are the most important neurotransmitters, and when they actually get released, you feel very happy about it. Crying often may also have an anti-aging effect, and crying too much can sometimes cause excessive broken capillaries around your eyes and nose also. So let's see some exercises now that we are looking too much into the monitor, and we understand it is having an effect on the eye, and we have understood that you could have some capillary breakdown or excessive fat holding on the eye. And I also said that, in the late night when you cry, you can experience some kind of bags or what we call the sagging bags on the eye. So these bags sometimes even last longer than the time you have cried. And once your eyes get puffy and swollen, most of the times when you keep crying over a period of time, you would see that the entire eye gets so puffy. And you could sometimes these, they make you look old over a period of time. So it's very important for us to take care. Now, why did I take up this topic on the excessive fat and crying? Is very important, my dear friends. I'll tell you the reason. It's because many of us have lost our loved ones. Many of us have had to handle a kind of a grief within the family. Many of us during this pandemic must have lost our friends, our so-called, good acquaintances, and we wouldn't have even been able to go and, show our grief. So we had to bottle it up ourselves. So these are all actually the reasons where, you could affect yourself. So the activation of the stress system, it starts from the hypothalamus, goes through your spinal cord, and then the adrenal gland, and the catecholamines goes into each of your organs. And for your heart, you will have people having palpitations or increased heart rate. For your liver, it starts converting glycogen to glucose, and that's why, as I told you, the diabetes is on the high. There is decreased digestive system activity, so you might have either a kind of constipation or indigestion, and high blood pressure, and definitely there is dilatation of the bronchioles, and lung capacity decreases. So to reduce the effects of the stress on your skin, you should follow a routine. Have a nice skincare, pamper yourself, because this stress would sometimes take it out on your skin. To relieve your skin, find healthy ways to unwind. I'm sure you will have many stress neutralization techniques. We have done a lot of them on this Health Talk series too. Change your diet. When you are stressed, to put an end to stress, get into healthy diet. You can start your day with 2 glasses of water. You have something called the infused water. You can add some cinnamon powder to the water. It also reduces your blood sugar levels. You could have a kind of a platter with lots of fruits and vegetables, as I told you, the green leafy vegetables. And then you can spend some time in the with the sun. That is the vitamin D, which is the sunshine vitamins, actually brightens up your day. And have a regulated time for your sleep. At least 6 to 8 hours is a good time to sleep. And try to monitor your sleep. Probably at 10 in the night, you go hit the bed, and at least till about 5:36 in the morning. So you have that 6 to 8 hours of quality sleep. I believe in quality sleep, not just the hours of sleeping. So let us say some home remedies to reduce this eye swelling from crying and all that. Many a times would have had people use used tea bags, so that when you keep it on the eyes, it reduces the puffiness. You'd have seen in beauty parlors, and they say maa ka nuska, wherein they use cucumbers which is sliced and kept it on their eye. You could also use some eye pads, and try to squeeze out cold water and keep it as a cold compress over the eye. Egg whites, obviously, they are filled with protein. They can be placed on your eye, wait for them to dry, and then wash it out. Gentle massages, I'm going to teach you some of them right away. Salty water. Aloe vera, I think, is enriched for any kind of a skin remedy, and you could use that too. So let's look at some eye exercises, which is going to really help your eye, soothe your eye, and make you feel better, even if it is just sitting in front of the computer. And as I told you, the 3 type of tears, the basic tears, or even the tears due to reflex. So the first thing you can do is roll your eyes. Now you can start doing some kind of exercise with me. So just look straight and then start rolling your eyes. Go side, up, another side, down. So it could be right, left, and then you could go left to right. Next could be just take your palms and place it on your closed eyes. Do a peekaboo and then take it out. Again, that would, bring out a lot of stress from the eye. Next one is for the tired eyes. You could take your 2 fingers, go up to your middle part of your nose, and then just gently tap, go around. Now, when you do this exercise, I would, probably advocate to apply some kind of a coconut oil, or some kind of a cream and do it so that it helps you do it very comfortably. It acts as a lubricant on your face. Next is to just go round and round. You could make 3 rounds in the clockwise and 3 on the anti-clockwise, and that also helps to ease out your eye tension and relaxes your facial muscles too. Next is to just do a simple blinking act. And they say for every 20 minutes of computer watching or any kind of a TV watch or cell phone watch, get a 20-second break and you can just close your eyelid and relax and just leave it alone. You could also do a zigzag or a Z formula wherein you just go up and down, up and down, up and down from one right to the left, and then keep repeating it so that you have much better eye movements. And last but not the least, try to get your eyes on the outside, up, central, and then down. So, you can really move your eyes and strengthen your eyes so that you get off your capillaries, especially the dark circles and, the kind of stress lines over the eyes. You could have the crow's feet, you could have a lot of eye bags and all that, which would go away with regular eye exercises. Sometimes you really don't know why you cry. There is a study which said, I'm sad, so I cry. I'm happy, I cry. I'm angry, I cry. I'm tired, I cry. I saw a video and a cat and the goat and they were best of friends, so I'm crying. Many a times I have done that. When we watch a movie, the actor would be emoting there and we would be emoting outside. It's okay. I have read some news, not so good news, I cry. I have a bad mental health day, I'm crying. I just really love you, and that is why I cry. I feel too much. I feel anxious. I feel catastrophic. I feel bad about myself. It's all about a bit too much right now for me to handle, and that's why I'm going to cry. Someone else is crying, so I choose to cry. So there are lots of reasons why you could cry. Sometimes even sex can make you cry. Sex is a very highly intimate and can evoke strong feelings. A person can be experiencing intense feelings of love and closeness. And these feelings of intense closeness can result in an oxytocin rush. Oxytocin, it's the love hormone, and that would induce physiological response of crying. So what do you do when you see a person cry? Obviously, we want to comfort. But before doing that, find out if they need any kind of help. Let's not pounce on them and offer help. Just sitting next to them and letting them just be themselves can also help them and comfort them. So understand the societal programming, understand the person next to you, and listen. Be empathetic. You don't have to talk too much to understand people. There is a saying which says, like, if words have to be always expressed to make the other person understand, then, eyes would not speak, right? But sometimes eyes speak much more than the words. Don't be too persistent about asking what's wrong, what's bothering. Don't be that way. Don't nag people. Be calm, focus, and don't impose anything on anyone. Many a times, inadvertently, we might do that. And just giving a hug, jadoo ki jappi, as we say, just hug people, and sometimes they feel, a world of difference. So tears of joy are like the summer raindrops pierced by sunbeams, as said by Hosia Ballo. There could be tears of joy too, my dear friends, and tears of joy or tears of happiness are different from tears of anger or sadness. So when we cry due to something which we think of good times, rather than the sad times, we call them tears of joy. But research has said that happy tears happen when you experience emotions so intense that they become unmanageable. When these emotions begin to overwhelm you, you might cry or scream or perhaps both in order to just let those emotions out. So just imagine those moments when, your tears of joy had come out. I'm sure every woman would say, when I gave birth to my child, I felt the pain, but then there were tears of joy. there was always a better thing to think about. People, when they win some titles or some awards, and it's a surprise for them, the hardships or the months or the years of hard work they had put up to get or win that award. It's a fruit of their hard work. Many a times when you see players win, they kiss the cup and have a tear of joy. It's an emotion. When you see people have done it, have come back one other time and then made it possible for themselves. And you also see people when they win elections and they feel overwhelmed with the responsibility they shoulder because few people thought they were better. So it's okay to cry, my dear friends. It's okay to have feelings. It's okay to rest. It's okay to ask help. It's okay to make mistakes. If you're sad, that's okay. If you're hopeful, that's okay. If you're angry, that's okay. If you're hungry, that's okay. If you're tired, that's okay. If you're stressed, that's okay. If you're worried, that's okay. If you're just okay, that's okay. Because it's okay to be okay. Thank you, my dear friends, for your patient listening. My number is 98401-76088. And I would like to thank Dr. Suresh and Mr. Salim sir for giving me this opportunity. Thank you to all of you for being a patient listener. I'm open to questions at this point in time.
Thank you, ma'am. It was a wonderful session.
Thank you so
Time
much.
for question and answer. Participants, you can ask questions or you can type in chat box.
Madam?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yes.
கொஞ்சம் நான் தமிழ்லயே பேசுறேங்க மேடம்.
கண்டிப்பா நானும் தமிழங்கன் தான்மா. நீங்க தமிழ்லயே கேளுங்க, நான் தமிழ்லயே பேசுறேன்.
ஆமா, எனக்கு பிடிச்ச டாபிக் ஆயிடுச்சு இப்ப அந்த கிரை அப்படிங்கிறது. ஏன்னா அழுதா பயங்கர ரிலீஃப் கிடைக்குது. ரொம்ப அதாவது பாட்டு கேட்டாதான் முதல்ல ரிலீஃப் ஆகும். இப்ப பாத்தீங்கன்னா அழுதா ரொம்ப நல்ல ரிலீஃப். அது எனக்கு ஒரு 20 வருஷமா அழுகையே வரல. ஏன்னா அந்த டீனேஜ்ல சண்டை போட்டு அந்த மெச்சூரிட்டி இல்லாம அந்த டீனேஜ் ப்ராப்ளத்துல சண்டை போட்டு அழுது அந்த கண்ணெல்லாம் வலிக்குங்க. கண்ணு அந்த மேல நெத்தி இதெல்லாம் வலிக்கும். அந்த வலிக்கு பயந்துகிட்டே அழுகிறத நிறுத்தினேன். அப்புறம் அப்படியே என்னோட லைஃப் ஃபுல்லா ட்ராஜடி தான் 20 வருஷமா. ஆனா அழுகையும் வரல. இப்பதான் இந்த 48 இயர்ஸ் ஆகுது. இப்பதான் கொஞ்சம் அழுக வந்து அந்த அழுகையோட இம்பார்ட்டன்ஸ் வந்து எனக்கு தெரியுது. அழுகா ரிலீஃப் கிடைக்குது அப்படிங்கிறது. ஆனா அந்த அழுக வரவே மாட்டேங்குது. இது எப்படி பண்றது? அதுதான் எனக்கு அழுக வந்து வர மாட்டேங்குது. ஃபுல்லா அப்படியே தொண்டை வரைக்கும் இருக்கு, ஆனா வெளியில வரல.
சம்டைம்ஸ் என்ன ஆகும்னாமா, நம்ம வந்து ஒரு மாதிரி இருக்கிற சூழ்நிலையெல்லாம் மனசுக்குள்ள போட்டுட்டு நம்ம ஒரு கல்லஞ்சமா ஆயிடுவோம். நம்மளுக்கு அழுக வராதுன்னு கிடையாது, நம்ம அழுதாலும் பிரயோஜனம் கிடையாது, நம்ம அழுகைக்கு ஒரு விடை இல்ல, நம்ம அழுதாலும் மத்தவங்க கேட்கறதுக்கு ரெடியா இல்ல, யாரும் கேட்பாரு கிடையாது, யாரும் ஆறுதல் சொல்ல ஆளு கிடையாதுங்கிற போது கொஞ்சம் கொஞ்சமா நம்மளோட அழுகையை வந்து நம்ம நிறுத்திடுவோம். ஆனா நீங்க சொன்ன மாதிரி அழுகைய வந்து வர வைக்கலாம் முடியாது. உங்களோட மனச எது ரொம்ப புண்படுத்தி இருக்கோ அதை நாங்க வந்து யூஸ்வலா ஒரு எக்ஸசைஸ் மூலமா நாங்க வந்து அதை சொல்லுவோம். சோ அந்த எக்ஸசைஸ் என்ன பண்ணுவோம்னா, என்ன உங்களை பாதிச்சிருக்கு அப்படிங்கறது எழுத சொல்லுவோம். அப்புறம் அதுக்கு நீங்க எப்படி ரியாக்ட் பண்றீங்க அப்படிங்கறது சொல்லுவோம். அதுக்கப்புறம் ஏன் உங்களுக்கு இப்போ அழுதா உங்களுக்கு ரிலீஃப் கிடைக்கிறது, உங்களுக்கு என்ன ஃபீலிங்ஸ் இருந்திருக்கு அப்படிங்கறது நம்ம கேட்போம். இது எதுவுமே மறைச்சு இருக்கிறதுல ஒண்ணுமே கிடையாது. கொஞ்ச நேரம் முன்னாடி மேபி ஒரு 4-5 மணி நேரம் முன்னாடி ஒரு ஃப்ரெண்ட், பேர் சொல்ல விருப்பப்படல, ஒரு ஃப்ரெண்டு கேட்டாங்க, ஒரு செஷன்ல நீங்க அழுதீங்களே ஏன் அப்படிங்கறது. சோ அப்போ நான் சொன்னேன், நானும் மனுஷி தானே இல்லையா, நம்ம வந்து நடிகர்கள் கிடையாது, நம்மளோட வாழ்க்கையில நடந்த சம்பவத்தை நம்ம எப்படி ஹேண்டில் பண்ணியிருக்கோம், நம்ம எப்படி உள்வாங்கி இருக்கோம், நம்ம அதை எப்படி எக்ஸ்பிரஸ் பண்ணியிருக்கோம், அதை எப்படி நம்ம ஓவர் கம் பண்ணி நம்ம அந்த சேலஞ்ச நம்ம அதுக்கப்புறம் தாண்டி நம்ம வாழ்க்கையில முன்னேறி இருக்கோங்கிறது தான் வாழ்க்கையே. வாழ்க்கை ஒரு பயணம். ஏதோ ஒரு விஷயம் நம்மள என்னன்னு சொல்றது, பின்னோக்கி நம்மள இழுத்ததுனால நம்ம இனிமே முன்னேறவே மாட்டோம் அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு சரித்திரமே கிடையாது. ஒரு அன்பை நீங்க எடுத்து பாருங்களேன், அத கொஞ்சம் பின்னாடி இழுத்து அப்படி விட்டீங்கன்னா தான் அது முன்னாடியே போகும். சோ கடவுள் ஏதோ ஒரு காரணத்தினால உங்களோட வண்டி சக்கரத்தை கொஞ்சம் ஸ்லோ பண்ணிருக்காங்கன்னா கொஞ்சம் சிந்திச்சு பார்க்கலாம். அந்த சிந்திச்சு பார்த்துட்டு ஏதாவது நம்ம மேல ஏதாவது தவறு இருந்ததுன்னா அதை திருத்த கொஞ்சம் பார்க்கலாம். ஏன்னா எல்லாரும் பர்ஃபெக்டும் கிடையாது. நம்ம ஏதோ ஒண்ணு தப்பு பண்ணியிருக்கோம், அதனாலதான் நம்ம ஏதோ அனுபவிக்கிறோம் அப்படிங்கறதுதான் கருத்து. அடுத்த டாபிக் இன்னும் ஒரு 4 நாள்ல வரப்போறேன். அதுதான் அந்த தலைப்புலதான் நான் பேச போறேன். சோ கண்டிப்பா அன்னைக்கு உங்களுக்கு இன்னும் விடை கிடைக்கும். சோ புரிஞ்சுக்கிறது தான் நம்ம வாழ்க்கை. அந்த புரிதல்ல அதுக்கப்புறம் நம்ம முன்னேறிட்டு போகிறது, அதுதான் வாழ்க்கை. ஐயோ அது ஆயிடுச்சேன்னு சொல்லிட்டு அதையே பிடிச்சிட்டு இன்னும் இருக்கிற வாழ்க்கையும் நம்ம நரகமா ஆக்கிக்க கூடாது. ரைட்? சோ ஓகே, ஆச்சு. அது ஒரு சிச்சுவேஷனா அதை எடுத்துட்டு அதுக்கப்புறம் நம்ம எப்படி இன்னும் நல்லா முன்னோக்கி வரலாம் அப்படிங்கறத யோசனை பண்ணி அதுக்கு கண்டிப்பா நிறைய உழைப்பு உங்க சைட்ல இருந்து இருக்கும். சோ இது ஒரு ஜெனரல் ஃபாரமா இருக்கிறதுனால பர்சனலா என்னால உங்களுக்கு ஒரு விடை கொடுக்க முடியுமான்னு தெரியல. பட் கண்டிப்பா என்னோட நம்பர் எடுத்துக்கோங்க. என்னோட நம்பர் 9840176088. தமிழ்ல சொல்லணுமா? 9840176088. சாட் பாக்ஸ்ல போட்டுடுறேன்மா, கண்டிப்பா போடுறேன். ஓ யாரோ போட்டுட்டாங்க ஏற்கனவே. தேங்க்யூ சோ மச். சோ அதுதான் என்னோட நம்பர். கண்டிப்பா பர்சனலா நம்ம இதை பேசினோம்னா உங்களுக்கு ஆறுதலா இருக்கும் அப்படிங்கறது நீங்க ஃபீல் பண்ணினீங்கன்னா கண்டிப்பா நம்ம அது மாதிரி பேசலாமா. ஏன்னா நிறைய இடத்துல நான் இருக்கேன், ஜஸ்ட் ஒருத்தர் ஐ எம் தேர் ஃபார் யூ அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு வார்த்தை சொன்னாலே நிறைய பேர் முன்னேறிட்டு போயிருக்காங்க. ஒரு ஸ்டோரி வேணா சொல்றேன். தமிழ்ல தான் சொல்லணுமா இங்கிலீஷ்ல சொல்லணுமா? எல்லாருக்கும் இங்க தமிழ் புரியும்னா நான் தமிழ்லயே சொல்றேன். இங்கிலீஷ்லயே சொல்லலாம். ஓகே ஓகே. சோ ராக்கஃபெல்லர் அப்படிங்கிற ராக்கஃபெல்லர்னா there is a person who is very famous. People who have traveled to USA in New York, you would understand that Rockefeller buildings, there are 11-12 buildings next to each other. There's a beautiful ice skating rink there. And for every New Year, Christmas time, you would see people skating there. Competitions are held there. It's a very famous tourist spot. So there is a garden, there is a park in the central New York called the Central Park. So in Central Park, there is a person who's sitting. I don't want to tell names. So there's a person who's sitting and he is in all tears because everything in his business he has lost. Everything seems to be doomed. Nothing seems to be going right in his life. Whatever he had, whether it was money, it was fame, it was friends, everybody has abandoned him. Now he has to start from scratch. There is nothing which is going to push him forward. So this man actually is sitting in Central Park. It's a true story. And he's sitting and crying. And he has no idea what the future holds for him. There was an old man sitting on the other bench. And he was just watching this man. He was Mr. Rockefeller. He walked up to this guy and he said, "What can I do for you, my dear son?" So he had explained everything to him. Rockefeller immediately took out a check from his pocket and he wrote a check and he didn't write the amount on the check. He said, "You encash whatever you want. Start again. I'm there for you. The young man, when he saw this check, he was overwhelmed. He started weeping a lot more. And he said, "Sir, I don't know who you are, but this check has given me a lot of hope. This check has given me the belief that I can move forward in life. I will not use up this check, but I promise you I will come 1 year from today and I will meet you at the same place and return back this check to you. And that day, you will see me as a confident young man, not the man that you see me today." With renewed vigor, he goes out and creates a kingdom again. Today, the same check has been given to all of us sitting in this session. It's up to us 1 year from today to be a changed person, to be a person that we have never imagined in our life to be, to come back and to come back with a bang and say, "We did it. It's possible." There might be some financial loss for people. There might be some people with health challenges. There might be people with some emotional breakdown. Not everybody tells everything to everybody, right? When you ask a friend of yours, "How are you?" what would you get as an answer? "I'm fine." Whether they are fine or not, you don't know, but they would say they are fine. After 10 minutes, you ask the same question, "How are you?" Then, if they feel comfortable with you, they will open up. Spend half an hour with that same person. They'll pour their heart out because they want to know whether you are an empathetic person sitting and listening. On the surface, all of us will say, "I'm fine." But it is a true friend that very few people have who would understand the pain behind our silence. And that is very important in our life. I think it made sense. Thank you so much. I get to see a lot of emotions here. Thumbs up. Thank you, Sulochana. Thank you, a lot of you. I mean, Vishal, I'm getting a lot of them. It's just popping on my face. So I'm sorry I'm not able to read all of them. Thank you, Jyoti. Thank you so much.
Okay, ma'am.
Chitra Ramani, yeah, go ahead.
Shall I talk?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes,
Go
please.
ahead.
Yes, please.
Okay, good evening, ma'am. Your session was wonderful about crying. I faced so many mental and physical crises in my life after my marriage. At the time, crying is the only remedy to me. I was carrying my 2 children. I went to my gyno doctor in the crying mode only. If there is an unknown person touched me, how are you? Asked. Suddenly, I started my crying because too much of stress, depression, and lonely feeling changed me like that. After a long time psychiatric treatment, I didn't get good result. The gyno doctors call me, "Hi, Almunji Chitra, how are you?" I feel very bad at the time. But after 30 years of this suffering, I got a good and very good very good person, Dr. Srinivasan, psychiatrist from Kovai Medical Center, KMCH. அவருடைய group therapy attend பண்ணதுக்கு அப்புறம் I changed a lot. Self-compassion, self-love, searching of myself from my subconscious mind. I changed a lot now. I am being very happy and positive. I recall my all talents while my period of college time. So, in my point of view, our emotions like crying, laughing, whatever it may be, we will have to express it, our emotions. Also, we could know how to overcome from that feelings as soon as possible. It is the most important thing in this regard. So your presentation was super, ma'am. I'm very happy because I'm attending lot of meetings in this Yellow Pond team. Daily I'm waiting. எப்போ 5 மணி ஆகும் நம்ம இந்த மீட்டிங் அட்டன் பண்ணலாம் அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரியே நான் பார்த்துட்டு இருப்பேன். இதுல பேசக்கூடிய ஒவ்வொரு டாக்டர்ஸுமே டெய்லி எனக்கு ஒரு என்லைட்டன்மெண்ட் கொடுத்துட்டே இருக்காங்க. அதனால இன்னைக்கும் எனக்கு ஒரு நிறைய விஷயங்கள் தெரிஞ்சுது. இப்பெல்லாம் நான் அழறதே இல்லை. ஏன்னா யாராவது அழுதா கூட இதுக்கு போய் அழறியா அப்படின்னு சொல்ற மாதிரி I was changed. I am so happy to hear your all points. I took screenshots. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Chitra ma'am. Thank you. I will not say don't cry. I will say cry, but refocus and get along. There is a question here from Rajeshwari. She says that, there is somebody who does not cry on happy moments or on sad. Rather, they don't express their emotions. That's what it meant. So that's not a way of life. In fact, I don't know if you've Googled enough. There is a 70-year-old lady, okay? And she is from the Southeast Asian country. I'm not telling name. You can Google and find out. And she has no lines on her face, no wrinkles, 75, no wrinkles, no smile lines, no, any kind of age changes on her face. So when they asked her, how can you be? She looks like a 16-year-old, okay? But her age is 70 plus. So, she said she's never smiled or never laughed in her life because she didn't want to have any wrinkles on her face. I started laughing at that. I said, I would like to explore my life. I would like to experience my life. I would like to live my life on my terms. I don't want somebody to dictate to me, you can't laugh, you can't smile. It's our life. It's your life, my dear friends. It's each of our lives. We have the right to live the way we want. The only thing is, live it the best possible way you can. Because all of us, if you dig, will have your own stories. But you know who would listen to your story? Only when you overcome and when you become a success person. Only then your story will have a twist. For a 3-hour movie, you go to a cinema hall and listen. For just a 3-hour movie, you want a sad moment, you want an Amma sentiment, you want a hero falling down, you want a villain to hit you up, you want some romance. Don't you want all that in your life too? Don't you want your story to be the best? So when you face challenges, don't ask why me to God. Instead, ask why me for all the blessings God gave you and count your blessings. That is the most important way. You have to express your gratitude. Me saying it's okay to cry is because I want you to be human. There is nothing for you to hide. You can cry wherever you want, whenever you want. It's your life. But don't do that in front of wrong people. Like you said, Chitra ma'am, that somebody called you Algunni. I mean, how insensitive can somebody be? Each of us will cry for a different reason. Your reason may be different from mine. I have no right on earth to say my reason is the most important and yours is not.
Yes, ma'am.
Each of us have to be empathetic with each other. For you, your, whatever is the biggest challenge. If I go and ask a 3-year-old child, what is his problem in life? He will say carrying the school bag, which is so big, heavier than his own weight, is the biggest challenge in his life. Can I go and say, oh, that bag is very light to that child? It's being insensitive, right?
Yeah.
So each of us have our own burdens, have our own challenges. Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So victory is only by those people who overcome the challenges. And let's be, all of us, let's be those victorious people in life.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much. Well
Thank
said.
you, Chitra. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vishal. Thank you so much. Any more questions?
Ma'am, Tamil Selvan is asking how many times can we do exercise, eye exercise, and there any restriction is there?
Okay, so Tamil Selvan sir, you can do these exercise at least twice in a day. Better to start your day with these exercise even before you hit against any cell phone or a laptop or anything. And the last time before you go to bed, you will get a nice good sleep when you do these exercises, because all these muscles around your eye would really, ease out, and you will sleep better. Your quality of sleep will improve. So do it before, just after getting out of bed and just before going to sleep. Those would be the best times. Otherwise, if you don't find those 2 times better, maybe as a break, after 2-3 hours of looking onto the laptop or whatever your work profile could be, you can do that.
I just want to add one more to the eye exercises. Before going to take bath, fill up the plastic bucket full of water, and then take a deep breath, dip your face into the water, and do all these exercises like 1, 2, 3, 4, or X or plus or circle this way, anti-clockwise, whatever you want to do. When you do all these things inside water, the entire eye gets lubricated. Once in a while, we can do that. I'm not recommending you do it twice a day. Once in a while, you can do that.
Actually, that's a well said point, sir. There is also something called the ice face exercise, wherein you have a bucket of ice, cold water, and you dip your face completely, and you can spend as much time as you want. And when you do that, what happens is your there is dilatation of your facial whatever arteries, veins and everything, and it brings out a flush on your face and you look very radiant. So for all those women, if you want a beauty tip out of this session, that could be another one. Yes. So, any other questions?
Hi, ma'am.
Hi, Mary.
Hi, ma'am. Your session was very good.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Actually, I don't cry much because everyone tells I'm a very emotionally strong person. So when my dad passed away, only I cried. Actually, I don't believe in crying. Instead, you can start solving the problem instead of crying and cribbing. That's my nature. But a very excellent, informative session.
That's true. There is an understanding as how long do you want to cry. So for some, it might be 5 minutes. For some, it might be 5 days. For some, it might be 5 weeks and 5 months. It's a choice, Mary. I guess I belong to the same category of you. I have had severe challenges in my personal life too. 6 years back, I lost my husband. And after the doctor had declared him that he had gone to the other beautiful world of no pain and suffering, I texted to all my friends and I said, like, Hari has moved on in life, and he's gone to a place of no pain and suffering, and people thought he's taken sannyas. So they didn't understand what I had said. And, they sent me various messages back. And I was in that mood only for about a day's time. And then I said, what next? I had to feed myself. I go ahead to work and I started my life again. So it's as simple as that it can be. So I understand. We are overcomers and we need to learn the art of overcoming. But then when I used to come back home, I had my mother, and my mother used to sit and cry, and she cried for so long. And I said, Amma, I don't want you to cry. I want to be happy. Now, if you're going to cry, I have to sit and cry with you. I can't do that. I can't act because you are crying. I will cry whenever I feel I have to cry. So don't make me cry. I will cry when I want. Otherwise, I'm fine. So this is exactly how you should understand life and move on. So it is not a cliche word. I don't believe that, you should not cry or you should hide an emotion. All of us are human beings. Let's be human. and let's just give out the best kind of expression of our life. Let our face be the best, expression of what we feel from within, right? Agathan alagu mugathil theriyum. So if you're happy, show it off. If you're sad, show it off. It's nothing wrong. That works well.
Thank you, ma'am. It was a wonderful session. As you quoted, the clouds rain too when things get heavy. It was a beautiful. Then you gave us types of tears, then benefits of tears, then some beauty tips. It was a wonderful session. Kindly accept our gratitude on behalf of American College Madurai, MS Chellamuthu Institute Madurai, Madras School of Social Work Chennai, Red Pond Educational Research Center, Yellow Pond Counseling Center, then TNCCA, TNCPA, then other core team members. Big thank from others, ma'am. Participants, we will have yet another beautiful session tomorrow. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Sananda ma'am. Thank you so much to all of you for being a patient listening and for such a wonderful interactive question answer session. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.